So, what will you leave behind? It's a huge question, one we all think about at some point. And today, we're going to tackle it head-on. We're going to completely redefine what a legacy even means, moving way beyond the big monuments and piles of money to something much, much more meaningful, and something that every single one of us can build.
No, really, just for a second. What's the first image that pops into your head? For most of us, I bet it's something, well, something pretty grand, right? Something almost out of reach. You know, maybe it's a family name carved in stone on a university library, or a trust fund so huge it takes care of generations you'll never even meet. Our culture has this way of defining legacy by things you can count: dollars, buildings, public recognition. But is that really what we value deep down? Because when you actually look past the big headlines and you ask regular people what they genuinely want to pass on, well, the answer is kind of shocking. It turns out the stuff we think matters most might not be what matters at all.
Okay, check this out. This is fascinating. A national survey found that a whopping 59% of people, that's nearly 2 out of every 3, believe their values and life lessons are the single most important part of their legacy. That's way more than financial assets and property combined. So let that sink in. What we want to leave behind isn't what we own, it's who we were.
And you know, that one insight, it changes everything. It means legacy isn't some far-off thing you plan for at the end of your life. It's something you are actively building right now, today, with every single choice you make. So yeah, it is definitely time for a new definition. Which brings us right to our first section, rethinking your legacy. The big idea here is that it's built by who you are, not by what you own.
Psychologists have a really cool term for this drive. They call it symbolic immortality. It's this deep, fundamental human need to feel connected to the future, to know that our influence, our little piece of the world, will outlive us. It's not about being famous forever. It's about contributing to a story that keeps going long after our chapter ends.
And this chart just lays it out so perfectly. The old, conventional way of thinking, it was all about assets and accolades, measured by your bank account and, honestly, pretty focused on yourself. But this new, more meaningful way, it's all about your values and your impact. It's measured by the lives you touch, and it's completely focused on others. This is a legacy that absolutely everyone can build. I just love this quote because it makes the whole idea feel so real. Your legacy isn't some single grand gesture. Nope. It's the compounded result of thousands of little decisions. It's the path you're literally walking every single day. And that path, believe me, it creates some powerful ripples. So let's talk about that in Section 2, the power of ripples. Because I guarantee you, your influence is so much greater than you think. I mean, just think about it for a second. Rosa Parks wasn't trying to become a historical icon on that bus. She was just standing up for her own dignity, and that single act of defiance helped spark an entire movement. Or think about Fred Rogers. He didn't shout from the rooftops. His quiet, consistent message of empathy shaped entire generations of kids. And then, of course, you have the local heroes, the ones whose names we might never know. The teachers, the volunteers, the neighbors who build the very foundations of our communities one person at a time. And look, this isn't just some feel-good idea. There's real science to back it up. Researchers did this huge study with over 3,500 people, just to see how simply thinking about legacy changes how we act. And the results were just crystal clear. The group that was asked to think about their legacy, they became significantly more generous and more empathetic toward the future. So here's the kicker. Just the simple act of considering your impact makes you a better, more connected person. How amazing is that? And the big lesson here is that our actions are contagious. They set the tone. People copy what you do, not just what you say you believe. Every single choice you make is a little lesson you're teaching to everyone around you, whether you mean to or not. All right, let's move on to Section 3, designing your blueprint. Because a meaningful legacy can show up in all kinds of different forms, but they all share the same solid foundation. So your legacy can be personal, the values and traditions you pass on to your family. It can be professional, the people you mentor, the standards of excellence you set at work. It can be philanthropic, creative, even digital in today's world. And the best part is, these areas all overlap, and they paint this rich, full picture of your total impact. But no matter what form it takes, a truly strong legacy is always built on these core pillars. It needs a clear vision of the future you want to help build. It has to be guided by non-negotiable values, the things you just won't compromise on. It demands integrity to build trust, a willingness to make short-term sacrifices for a long-term good, and, this is a big one, a definition of success that's based on your contribution, not on your accumulation.
Okay, here we are at our final section. Start building today. Because a powerful legacy never ever happens by accident. It is built on purpose. We have to get this idea out of our heads that legacy starts someday. Someday when we're older, someday when we're richer. No, it starts right now, today, with one single deliberate action. The person you'll be remembered as is being forged by the choices you are making in this moment. The only question is, are those choices intentional?
So here's a super simple, but really powerful framework. Step 1. Define your aim. Boil down your entire vision into one single clear sentence. Step 2. Build one proof habit. That's a small daily action that proves you're committed, especially when it's tough. So for example, if your aim is to be a more present parent, your proof habit could be just 15 minutes of totally focused, phone-down time with your kids every single day, no matter how chaotic things get. And finally, step 3. Start now. Right now. Make one choice today that lines up with that aim.
And really, that's what this all boils down to. A meaningful legacy isn't something you just stumble into. It is the powerful, compounding result of small choices made with clear intention, day after day after day.
So, as we wrap this up, I'm just going to leave you with this one question to think about. Every decision you make adds another word to your story. Every habit you build writes a new sentence. The path you walk, that becomes the whole narrative. So, what story will your choices tell?